You've been taught a lie. That being the good one, the responsible one, the reliable one, the quiet one, is a virtue. That your self-control is strength. That your ability to put others first makes you noble. That your silence in the face of disrespect is maturity. But none of that is true. It's a trap. And worse, it's a trap you're praised for staying in. Because here's the brutal truth. Being the good one isn't about being strong. It's about being afraid. It's about being trained. And it's about being used. This script is not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for comfort or affirmation, leave now. Because what you're about to face isn't pretty. It's the slow rot of self-erasure, wrapped in compliments. It's the inner collapse that happens when your entire identity is built around pleasing others, managing their moods, protecting their egos. And nobody warned you what it would cost. But Schopenhauer did, in a voice most people ignored. He saw it. The way society weaponizes morality to control the individual. The way your so-called goodness is just submission dressed in virtue. He knew, long before pop psychology and Instagram therapists, that you can obey yourself to death and still never feel free. So let's be very clear. This isn't a motivational talk. This is a dismantling of your false role, of your quiet servitude, of your addiction to being the good one, because that role is killing you. Slowly. It's draining your energy, burying your anger, and silencing your instincts. And worst of all, it makes you easier to control by your parents, your partner, your boss, your entire culture. It tells you that your worth is measured by your sacrifice, that your value is in your obedience. That love will finally come, but only after you've proven how much you can endure. But that's not love. That's emotional exploitation. You've mistaken fear for kindness. And what you call patience is often just paralysis. You've spent your life building a prison made of politeness, and now you wonder why you feel invisible. So today, we're tearing that mask off, because the hidden cost of being the good one is your identity. And Schopenhauer, the philosopher of suffering, is the one who will help you take it back. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about becoming free. Free to say no. Free to be seen. Free to stop bleeding for people who never even asked you to. Now forget everything you were told about goodness. It's time to learn what it's really been costing you. Imagine a cage. It doesn't look like one at first. It's elegant, polished, decorated with medals of politeness, selflessness, patience, and humility. People compliment it. You're so mature. You're such a rock. We don't know what we'd do without you. But it's a cage, and you built it, not with your hands, with your fears. Fear of disapproval, fear of conflict, fear of being called selfish. So you learn to smile while bleeding, to nod while swallowing rage, to stay quiet while everyone else got to be loud, wrong, and still loved. This is the paradox Schopenhauer saw in society's moral framework. That much of what we call virtue is just the internalization of external control. He wrote not to flatter the masses, but to dissect the mechanisms that enslave them. In On the Suffering of the World, Schopenhauer doesn't sugarcoat the nature of life. He exposes it as inherently full of pain, and shows how most systems of morality aren't solutions to that pain, but distractions from it. You've been told that if you just behave well enough, long enough, you'll escape suffering. But that's the lie. Suffering doesn't go away just because you shrink yourself. In fact, it grows. Every time you bite your tongue instead of speaking up. Every time you offer help when you're already drowning. Every time you absorb someone else's chaos just to keep the peace. And worse, you're rewarded for it. That's the cruelty of the cage. It isn't locked from the outside. It's locked by praise. You're not being oppressed with whips. You're being trained with compliments. You're so mature. You're the responsible one. You never complain. What they're really saying is, you make my life easier. You don't ask for anything. You don't threaten the balance I'm comfortable with. Schopenhauer understood that human behavior is not driven by rationality or morality. It's driven by will, an irrational, blind force that pushes us to survive and dominate. And in a social context, the will of others often uses morality as camouflage. Your goodness serves them, not because they're evil, but because it's convenient. And as long as you keep handing them your time, your energy, your silence, they'll keep taking it. The tragedy is this. You were taught to be good as a survival strategy. to stay out of trouble, to be loved, to be safe. But in trying to be good, you forgot how to be real. And the longer you stay in that cage, the more invisible you become. Not just to others, but to yourself. You start asking, why am I always tired? Why do I feel hollow? Why am I never angry? Only numb? Because your instincts are locked in that cage with you. Your boundaries, your hunger, your ambition, all trapped behind the bars of niceness. And if you don't break out, they will rot there. Or worse, turn against you. That's the hidden cost Schopenhauer pointed at beneath all his pessimism. The cost of betraying your will for the comfort of others. You think you're doing the right thing, but what you're really doing is disappearing. Schopenhauer didn't believe in moral progress. He didn't think humanity was evolving toward some higher state of compassion. Instead, he believed that society was refining its methods of control, polishing its cages until they looked like temples. And one of its most elegant inventions? The moral domestication of individuals. You were domesticated, not raised. Taught to sit, stay, smile. Taught that obedience is safety and compliance is love. It starts early. You're praised when you're quiet, punished when you're defiant, rewarded for saying yes, scolded for saying no. Not because adults are evil, but because control is easier than connection. Schopenhauer, in On the Basis of Morality, warns us that morality often isn't a compass pointing to truth. It's a leash. It tells you how to behave, not who to become. And the more you internalize that leash, the more you believe it's part of you. That's what happened. You became your own handler. You watch yourself constantly. You correct your tone. You soften your words. You anticipate everyone else's needs before your own. You've turned yourself into a caretaker of other people's comfort and called it maturity. But here's the brutal twist. The more you succeed at being good, the more invisible you become. You're the friend who never needs help, the child who never complains, the partner who forgives everything, the employee who never pushes back. And yet, no one knows what you want. No one asks what you need, because you trained them not to. In trying to be loved, you became useful. But usefulness is not love. It's transaction. Schopenhauer believed that true individuality requires rebellion. Not against society, but against the narratives that hollow you out in the name of virtue. To him, the highest human act wasn't obedience. It was self-awareness in the face of suffering, not turning away, not numbing yourself, but seeing clearly that life will never reward you just for being agreeable, that most people don't want your truth, they want your function. And as long as you keep performing, they won't stop watching the show. This is where the cost deepens. When you abandon your truth long enough, you forget it was ever there. You say, I'm fine, and you believe it. You smile while your stomach churns. You comfort others while you fall apart. This isn't kindness. It's self-abandonment. And here's the trap. If you dare to stop, to say no, to show anger, to demand space, they'll say you've changed. They'll say you're being selfish. They'll accuse you of becoming cold. But that's just the sound of your cage rattling. That's the backlash of a system losing its favorite servant. Schopenhauer wasn't calling for cruelty. He was calling for clarity. Clarity about the motives behind morality. Clarity about the will that drives behavior. Clarity about your right to exist as more than a role. You've been tricked into believing that goodness means absence of needs, of pain, of desire. But true strength is not silence. It's the ability to speak from within your suffering without letting it be used against you. So if you want to stop paying the hidden cost of being the good one, you have to stop being useful first. You have to become human again. You don't realize it at first. It's subtle. It looks like being the one who always answers the late-night call, the one who says it's okay when it's not, the one who cleans up messes they didn't make. At work, you pick up tasks nobody else wants. You over-prepare. You avoid confrontation, even when boundaries are crossed. You apologize for asking questions. You smile when you're interrupted. You leave meetings feeling like a ghost in your own life. In relationships, it's even worse. You never bring up your needs, not because they don't exist, but because you've convinced yourself they're too much. You say, I understand, when you feel abandoned. You forgive before they apologize. You become the emotional sponge, always absorbing, never expressing. You don't demand. You endure. You don't express. You adapt. And slowly, Your inner life stops being a place you live in and becomes a storage unit for other people's guilt. Even in family dynamics, you're the one who keeps things together. You make peace, you minimize, you carry the emotional load so no one else has to, and they call you strong for it. But strength that requires self-erasure isn't strength, it's slow annihilation. You walk through life managing everyone's comfort while your own needs go unmet. You feel proud for being low maintenance, but underneath that pride is exhaustion, a sense that you're always watching your own mouth, always folding yourself down to fit into rooms that were never built for you. That's how the cost shows up, not in explosions, but in the quiet erosion of your sense of self. You think you're being kind, but what you're really being is erased. You've tried fixing it. You've read self-help books. You've journaled. You've said affirmations in the mirror. I deserve love. I can say no. I am enough. And for a while, it feels like maybe something will shift. You rehearse boundary scripts. You take deep breaths. You even tell yourself, this time, I'll speak up. But when the moment comes, you don't. You freeze. You smile. You let it happen. Again. Why? Because the problem isn't cognitive. It's survival-based. You're not being too nice. You're trained to obey. And that training wasn't logical. It was emotional. It was drilled into your nervous system through years of pattern reinforcement. Each time you stayed quiet and were praised, the cage was reinforced. Each time you expressed discomfort and were punished. With anger, withdrawal, guilt, the lock clicked tighter. Conventional advice tells you to just communicate better, set boundaries, or love yourself more. But it misses the brutal truth. You're not protecting peace. You're protecting attachment. At some point in your life, you learned that being good was the price of being safe. That compliance meant connection. That silence meant survival. So when you try to be assertive now, it's not just uncomfortable, it feels dangerous, because it threatens the very system you were taught would keep you alive. Schopenhauer understood this deeper layer. He wrote that most of our behavior is not driven by reason, but by blind, unconscious will. And until you confront that will, the inner animal desperate for love, approval, and safety, no surface-level tactic will stick. You don't need better strategies. You need to face the part of you that equates self-expression with abandonment. That's why you keep failing. You're not broken, you're loyal to your training. If you want to break the cage, don't start with action. Start with permission. Not permission to speak louder. Permission to exist fully, including your anger, your disappointment, your resistance. You've spent years moralizing your own instincts, calling them selfish, immature, ungrateful. But instincts are not flaws. They're signals. They're the alarm bells of the self, warning you when something violates your boundaries, when something robs you of dignity, when you're shrinking again. Step 1 is to stop judging your discomfort. The next time you feel resentment, don't suppress it. Study it. Ask, what agreement have I silently made that's costing me my peace? Resentment is not a failure of character. It's a compass. It points to where your needs are being ignored, especially by you. Step 2, grieve the persona. You built the good one to survive. It kept you safe. It helped you belong. But now it's suffocating you. You won't become free by fixing that persona. You'll become free by burying it, with gratitude but without nostalgia. Mourn the version of you that said yes out of fear, and then burn the script. Step 3, redefine goodness, not as obedience, but as alignment between what you feel and what you allow, between your internal yes and your external yes. Anything less than that is not integrity, it's performance, and performance is exhausting. Step 4, rehearse risk. Say no in small, safe places. Let someone be disappointed. Let a silence linger. Let yourself not explain. That's how you rebuild your nervous system, not by thinking, but by surviving truthfully. Because courage isn't loud, it's consistent, and every time you choose truth over performance, the cage rusts a little more. There is a war inside you, not between good and evil, but between virtù and fortuna. In Machiavellian terms, virtù is your internal power, will, resilience, strategy, and agency. Fortuna is the chaotic force of circumstance, other people's approval, external outcomes, social narratives. The good one lives by fortuna, always adapting, anticipating, reacting. Their self-worth is determined by how well they navigate the moods of others, how invisible they can be while still remaining useful. But freedom comes when you shift to virtue, when your actions are driven not by what will maintain the peace, but by what will maintain your integrity. It's not easy. Fortuna seduces you with comfort. It whispers, just keep smiling. Don't make it awkward. Be nice and they'll love you. But it's lying, because every time you surrender to Fortuna, you lose virtue. You weaken the muscles of self-respect. You trade clarity for comfort. Schopenhauer would say that Fortuna feeds the illusion that you are in control by pleasing others. But it's a counterfeit control, fragile, contingent, and ultimately hollow. The real battle is this: do you want to be approved, or do you want to be real? Because the world often punishes authenticity. It's unpredictable, disruptive, harder to manipulate, but that's exactly why it matters. To stand in virtue means to risk rejection in order to remain whole. It means understanding that peace without self-respect is not peace. It's quiet surrender. And if you're not willing to confront Fortuna, you'll live your life bowed to forces that don't care if you vanish. So stand, speak, let the winds howl, and watch yourself remain. Breaking free is only the beginning. Staying free, that's the war. Because once you stop being the good one, the system reacts. People get uncomfortable. They call you difficult, cold, not like you used to be. That's not feedback. That's resistance. It's the system testing your resolve. So here's how you hold the line. 1. Develop emotional armor, not walls. Walls disconnect. Armor protects. You must learn to feel discomfort, disappointment, guilt, rejection, without letting it rewrite your values. Discomfort is not danger. It's the price of authenticity. 2. Build a council, not an audience. Stop trying to be understood by everyone. Start surrounding yourself with those who respect truth over harmony. A few allies who honor your wholeness are worth more than 100 fans of your mask. 3. Use silence as power, not submission. When you stop over-explaining, you stop negotiating your worth. A simple no is a full sentence. A boundary doesn't require a backstory. Let your quiet speak louder than your old apologies. 4. Name your inner traitor. There's a voice inside that still wants to shrink, still wants to beg, still wants to be liked. Don't fight it blindly. Watch it. Give it a name. Call it what it is. Your fear, your conditioning, your false protector. And then override it. 5. Anchor in a deeper loyalty. Not to roles, not to comfort, but to your truth. Every time you choose it, you become stronger. Not louder, not harder. Just unshakable. That's the real power Schopenhauer pointed toward. Not a power that controls others, but one that cannot be co-opted. Because once you stop asking permission to exist, you become impossible to manipulate. You've seen the cage clearly now. You've recognized the cost, and you understand that the good one was never your identity. It was your assignment. But knowledge without action is cowardice. It's not enough to nod and feel inspired. You have to declare yourself, not quietly, not privately, but clearly, boldly, openly. If you're truly ready to break the cage, write this in the comments right now. I am no longer the good one. I am the real one. Feel the discomfort. Feel the thrill. Feel the power returning to you. Because what you've just done is shift your allegiance from external approval to internal truth, from polite silence to unapologetic presence. You're not here to obey. You're not here to soothe. You're here to exist fully, completely, messily, exactly as you are. Remember Schopenhauer's brutal honesty. Life will always involve suffering, but there's suffering that imprisons you, and there's suffering that liberates you. Choose your suffering wisely. Choose the kind that honors your humanity, not erases it. Choose the kind that leaves you bruised but whole, never safe but always free. Because from this day forward, good will never again mean quiet. It will never again mean convenient. It will never again mean invisible. From now on, let your goodness be your authenticity, your honesty, your willingness to disrupt harmony if harmony means sacrificing yourself. So speak louder, stand taller, let the cage rust behind you, and never look back. Because the hidden cost of being the good one is a price you no longer pay. Welcome to freedom. It's uncomfortable, it's risky, and it's yours forever.